Is that just where the music ends? Okay. Well, boy, that's a sad beaver. September 11th. We will never forget. Thank you to the absolutely autistic TikTok Zoomer who made that beautiful 9/11 tribute. 5 years ago, I stopped doing the 9/11 cRasH TaCulaR entirely because I'm always 5 years ahead of the curve on everything. I realized, there's no chance. Soon, one day, very, very soon, I was saying to myself back then, we are going to have adult viewers of this show who have never experienced 9/11. They don't remember the tragedy that it was. And of course, this is a comedy show, so there's quite a bit of satire, maybe a little bit of poking fun. It was the edgy, cool thing to do. I said, this isn't edgy. This isn't cool anymore. These kids don't even know what 9/11 is. Well, 5 years later, everybody finally caught up to me. I was way ahead of the curve. Check this out. Somebody made KSN.com. They did a whole article on this. They said, is 9/11 a punchline to Gen Z? Experts weigh in. Salt Lake City. I don't know why that matters. Is that where there was a fifth plane that went down that day? And we will never forget it. Content creator Who Cares has seen a new trend emerge on social media in the last few months. The punchline? The Twin Towers falling on 9/11. She described the trend as a bait and switch joke. What's that? Please, the news, describe this to me. In which social media users will say, for example, Gym Bros in 2024 and describe a normal day, then switch the caption to Gym Bros in 2001 and show them staring at a TV with actual footage of 9/11 happening to human men. They say this sort of bait and switch joke seems very drastic. Yeah. Yeah, it's as if maybe that's where they're gleaning the humor from it. Now, it's kind of an interesting thought because I remember when I was a kid, there were rarely Pearl Harbor memes. We almost never did, a kamikaze style joke where we recorded on our home VHS and camcorders us going, zoom, I think I'm turning. It very rarely. It happened, but it was extremely rare compared to these kids. And I'm sure in the future, there will be 20-year-olds, there'll be 20-some-year-olds 20 years from now. At that point, are they going to be celebrating Jan 6? The worst tragedy that ever happened on U.S. soil? Now, the news says a few months ago, a Reddit user posted in the Zennial subreddit, no, that's not a thing. We're not doing this, which is mainly for people born in the late 1970s and early 1980s, asking if users thought 9/11 jokes were funny. One user responded by saying their Gen Z son jokes about 9/11. I don't think the whole generation is stupid, but I clearly failed somewhere, they wrote. When 9/11 becomes fodder for someone that doesn't really understand that day, that's when it stops being funny. So I called it. So basically they're saying I was right. If the kids if they weren't around for it, they don't even understand the horror of it, the absolute horror of it, then it's not really shocking or edgy anymore. And me, I'm a shock jock. All I know how to do is make you go, ah! So how do you mine humor from that? Now, in fairness, that was half of the reason I stopped doing the 9/11 cRasH TaCulaR. The other half was because I had already done every funny joke you could ever possibly do with it. I'd really just wrung the rag out. And then the third half of it was because Red Bar tried to steal it that year. So I said, let's call it off. Let's not do it anymore. And I promised I would never, ever do another 9/11 cRasH TaCulaR again. So how did we get here? Well, I realized something. What happens when the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, iPad babies who can never forget a thing they could never remember? What happens when they start watching Pod Awful? What happens when they think 9/11 is funny? How do you shock the iPad, TikTok, doo-doo brain generation? And I realized something. It's with extreme sincerity. So this episode is actually a tribute to 9/11, an actual horrifying event that I lived through. I remember exactly where I was, that Jared, who is fully yorked, remembers where were you, Jared, that day, that fateful day, that horrifying, terrible, fateful day.
72 Wall Street.
72 Wall Street. I was, of course, directly at the bottom of the towers, trying to hold them up personally. And I did. I kept them up for a while, and I got all those firefighters out of there. And I'll never forget where I was. I'll never forget that time. It was a horrifying thing to go through, especially as a kid, because you really didn't understand like the full gravity of the situation. Now, obviously, that's part of the problem with these iPad diaper baby freaks who are now, of course, in their brain, if it's not Skibbity Toilet, they don't really fully understand anything. But luckily for us, Skibbity Toilet even has 9/11 in it.
You know that the events of the series are happening sometime in the past. In episode 20, after going toe-to-toe against the G-Man, the camera Titan flies away, flying past two very important buildings, the Twin Towers. Notice here how it's an exact replica, straight down to the spire at the top of one of those buildings. This tells us that the events of the series predate the events of September 11th.
Yeah, so there you go. So even Skibbity Toilet has 9/11 in it. So this is something I am now realizing is these kids, they aren't being ironic about it. It's not that they're being sincere. It's not that they're being ironic. They're just stupid. And if you are one of these adults who did not experience 9/11 and you're watching right now, you're a retard. Now, I'm not saying that as like, this isn't an old man, yelling at clouds sort of moment here. It's just true. Your brain's been completely fried by Skibbity Riz and, whatever that was too, probably. I don't know what that means, but yeah, probably that. You're sitting there all day going through, the trends on TikTok. Your brain don't work no more. So I was going through videos trying to find these terrible examples. That video you saw at the beginning of this, okay? With all the cartoon characters crying over 9/11. There's probably a good portion of you thought, okay, this is somebody being ironic. No, I went through the channel. That person was entirely sincere. I realized something. The news is wrong. These kids, it's not ironic. It's us old folks, us old fogies, the farts. We don't get what's going on. We think they're joking, but they're so autistic that they're serious. So hopefully I'm shocking the audience by doing a real tribute to 9/11, because I visited unfortunately, the eternal resting place of many of those souls, those beautiful ornate fountains. I saw Jupiter Yambim listed there. I'll never forget Jupiter Yambim because it's the most bizarre name I've ever seen in my whole life. Michael LaFrance, many of the heroes and ordinary people who died that day. I've seen that up close with my own eyes. I was there at Ground Zero only a year after it happened. I was there when they put up the Freedom Tower. I was there when they built the memorial. And I think the most shocking thing I can do for our typical audience is treat that whole event with respect. And I think the only way to actually connect with the younger generation out there, unlike these idiots at the news, is understand that they are just experiencing something called autistic sincerity. So this cRasH TaCulaR, we're unsealing all the documents. We're going through everything. We're going to find out, and there's not going to be a dance party, okay? No dance parties, none of that. We're just going to remember the day, because it's a day you can never forgive and never forget. These colors don't run and they can't hide. This is the Podawful 9/11 cRasH TaCulaR.
You're reading what a bunch of henchmen with a bunch of bloody knives allowed in this book, not what was written.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Jesse PS. Sorry. We should probably keep it more solemn than that. It's maybe a little too much energy for this one. It is, of course, actually 9/11. Never forget. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Henchmen. We got Henchmen here in chat with us as well. We're getting DDoSed over on YouTube. This episode will be Pizza Fund only. Join us over at podawful.pizza, or if you'd like a quick link to it right now, urbanmoving.systems. You can go watch the full episode of this show at urbanmoving.systems. We're taking this seriously. Hi, Henchmen. Welcome.
Hi, Jesse.
Hello.
Whoa. Eho. That's if Super Mario was at 9/11, which we take seriously. We take cartoon characters seriously. These are things that we will not understand as old. Is anybody here young enough that they were not alive, or at least maybe young enough that they don't remember 9/11? Go ahead and raise your hand to say something if that falls under nobody.
Who's retarded?
I
only remember past 14.
Wait, say that again, Ray?
I only remember past 14 years old, so yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that might be a different kind of problem. Subpar, how old are you? You old enough?
I'm old enough. Yeah, I remember it.
Okay,
I remember.
See, all of us were old fogies. We need to connect with the young generation. You know, these shows like this, underground cult comedy, true cult comedy like this, dies on the vine if we're not getting in the 13-year-olds. We need them. And I know what you're thinking, Jesse, the internet, we're going to call you a word. Well, all I remember is when I was 13, I think 9/11 happened. How could I forget? And also when I was 13, I started watching all the stuff that I still love till today. You know, all of the things that have influenced this show and everything that I'm ever referencing. Those are the things I fell in love with, were the things that around 12, 13, 14, I started kind of really getting into. So we need to figure this out. I'm going to have to figure out YouTube shorts and TikTok videos, and we're going to have to put together compilations of all the goons remembering 9/11, you know, bowing their heads with a single tear coming out. Well, you know, Mersh, Santa Cruz Joker, Comedy Shaman, I don't know. Let's throw it Rufio. We'll throw in some ancient ones, some Ching Chang Chongs even. We'll get them all in there. We'll put up, you know, hundreds and hundreds of these memorial videos set to stolen music. We put no copyright intended into the description, and we're all good. And we got to connect with these kids. We're going through some of these videos. And again, you tell me, are these ironic or are these real? So I just thought before the show, what if I type in 9/11 Sonic the Hedgehog? Okay. What could possibly come up? And now you do have one here called Sonic Did 9/11. Now that one obviously is a joke. Here's the one I played at the beginning, a 9/11 tribute. It's by an account called, we got to give credit here, Mew Mew Peachy Silver New. Okay. Now this was only posted 2 years ago. This doesn't seem like somebody who was even alive for 9/11 to me.
I know there's one more episode left. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to deliver the Team cRasH Season 2 intro!
Feels dangerous to watch.
That sounds like Moonlight.
Yeah, it's Moonlight, it's Lisa, it's basically every single black girl LARPing as a Japanese girl that we've ever met. So I think this is a serious chant. I don't think they're messing around here. This isn't like a YouTube poop style thing. I think they're being for real. And then I saw some more on here. Here's a tribute to September 11th. Now, here's the thing. I learned something just last night. Do you remember this song?
Where were you when the world stopped turning?
Oh, of course.
Okay. So I don't want to play too much more of it because we're still on YouTube. Where were you guys when the world stopped turning? I thought that song was a joke. I thought, like, Dirk brought this up yesterday. He was like, oh, do you remember the Where Were You when they built that tower to heaven? And I was like, that's from South Park. I thought that was entirely, this is how stupid I am. I thought that was entirely just a made up thing for South Park. I did not know this song was real at all. There's like a real version of it. So we can't play the whole song, but this one starts off with the Disney font. Okay, this was made by Keon555KJM_official. Oh, thank God. We don't want to play the knockoffs.
Imposter.
Only no imposters here. Getting sus. Hey, sussy. Some sussies going on, kids.
Uh-oh, stinky.
So, tribute to September 11th. Made by, yeah, there you go. Enjoy. It's all in the Disney font. I don't know why. Is this a Disney guy? We've got the American flag. There's the Twin Towers burning the world. And of course, our favorite, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Who I believe is wearing the jacket of Sans from Undertale.
Yeah, that is an Undertale character's outfit. How those two things fit together, I don't know. There's, I think, a female Tails. They're all Sans from Undertale for some reason. Oh, there is Sans and, of course, Papyrus from Undertale. I only know who these characters are, by the way, because their names are fonts, of course.
Fonts. Yeah.
I think it's Sans. I say Sans. Like Comic Sans, you know? I said Sans because you said it. So, yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but I clicked through to the profile, and this is not like a meme joke channel. This is the type of stuff they post all the time. So then you got, okay. No. Now, again, I just told you guys, I was here at this. We've got a whole video where I went to 9/11. I saw 9/11 with my own eyes. For some reason, they've made it look like it's on fire. And you've got two OC anime characters that's it's sort of a Sonic Chew style thing going on here. It says RIP to the people who died in 9/11. Brought to you by Kinemaster.
Perfect pitch.
Nailing. Okay, so
Yikes.
that would almost bring me back to life if I was a dead guy from 9/11 at that point. I think these guys are all 100% Sonic the Hedgehog. 9/11, 23 years. We stand strong against terrorism. This says this was posted 2 days ago. Do we take a chance on this? What do you think?
Go for it.
I mean,
All right.
yeah.
All right, let's go for it. But we're going to go for it in the Pizza Fund. This episode is Pizza Fund only. So join us over at urbanmoving.systems.
Support the show. Join the Pizza Fund. Podawful.pizza.
Pizza.
Podawful.pizza.
I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give you just a tiny little sneak peek of this one, the Free People. And then we've got some AI 9/11 songs for you. I believe there's some people are now making AI 9/11 songs, and Zoomers are making 9/11 tribute songs. And I think we'll go over a little bit more of that, the Toby Keith stuff as well. These are fascinating songs to me that we've never really gotten to cover because we always do it on YouTube. So we'll be in the Pizza Fund. We'll be good. All right, here's 23 Years of Remembering 9/11, a tribute by Boris Animate, a child. (7:59 a.m.) The towers, the Statue of Liberty, an airplane. By the way, Boris Animate, you do have to change your name. Legally speaking, I think you're committing a crime.
Boris.
Okay. Technically, there's a little bit of movement going on here. 17 minutes later at 9:03 a.m. Kablooey. We got a kablooey situation. This is, and by the way, you know, a lot of these kids, you know, when they used to do those, China would do those 3D animation, or maybe it was Korea or something. They do those 3D animations of a news story. It was like all the rage, like 10 years ago. Every news story would do one of these things. That's what a lot of these kids grew up thinking 9/11. They've only seen it through the eyes of ding dong, ding, 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 dong. So, you know, Chinese thoughts and stuff like that. They really don't understand it. Boom. Kablooey.
The horrible black plumes.
Yeah, this is tough. 9:59 a.m. I mean, this is down to the minute kind of stuff. 9/11, to everybody who was in 9/11, to all the heroes, all the men and women, and the troops all over the world who died for 9/11. We salute you. Pod Awful cRasH TaCulaR. These colors don't run, and they can't hide. This is 9/11 cRasH TaCulaR. Never forgive. Never forget. We'll see you in the Pizza Fund, podawful.pizza, or urbanmoving.systems. We'll be right back after this.
Sorry, nigga. I'm Tom Gully, and you're watching Is This Live, the show.
This content right here
on the Pod Awful TV network
is Pizza Fund's own
podawful.pizza.
This shit is beefer. You're listening to Howdy Do with J. Crew.
podawful.pizza.
We got shooters in these streets.
Nigga.